Welcome back to sarahjanefarrell.com, where I help kind people and animals return to trust by resolving unconscious patterning and addictions caused by ancestral or familial or childhood abuse or something else. And today I really want to speak to this topic of suffering being optional. I know a lot of people bandy this around, and we're deep into the work of the trust process, the online training on how to keep in the present moment, to keep your immune system strong, and also to know that suffering is a choice, that you get to trust that you are enough, that you don't have to stay in the waiting room of intensity of pain, rather to just have an intense life. And I think that many of us who really long to awaken to our true nature, we have this idea about what we will experience. And I spoke to this the other day, so be sure to look at my video that I did on depression and the recent suicides of Anthony Bourdain and Kate Spade, because it applies to all of us, that when we get to this place of needing to rescue ourselves because we feel trapped, we create more disharmony, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy in a way. So just know that once you're awake, it's really difficult to go back to sleep. But if we think that we're awake, we'll be in a state of bliss forever, that nothing bad is ever going to happen, that stress will never affect you again. It's not true. You're going to experience difficult feelings. You're going to be challenged to push along against your edges, because that's how we as a species grow and thrive. We learn through misidentified mistakes, that we've taken something and that we can't choose to choose again, which is where we start to feel trapped. So go back, listen to the one I did on entrapment and these acts of desperation, where people are so desperate that don't see a way out, that they're killing themselves. So for today, here's the truth. Bliss doesn't last. Life is going to present challenges, and you're going to create your own woundings. We do this as children knowingly, because we know that that's how we grow. As strange as fiction it may be, it's the truth. And we're always going to have emotions arise from that. There's going to be a thought that's going to create a sensation or feeling in the body. And my aim is to not keep scaring yourself sick, to really grow up your child parts, and to know that you're on an amazing adventure. Because here's the thing, in any moment, in this moment, in any moment, it's always possible to find your way out of suffering, which is a state of mind. You are the one that thinks the thought that you're suffering, but are you the sufferer? Well, yes, you are. And this is where the placebo and nocebo effect comes into play, and also the role of epigenetics, where our expression of our gut microbiome, we need a healthy gut microbiome so that we're expressing healthy information to the rest of our body. We're not literally making ourselves sick through fear. We're scaring ourselves sick through the what ifs and the extrapolations of a very vivid imagination, which is not helpful to you, because it's always based in what you're going to lose and irrational thought. So this is what I love about the trust process, right? Because when you're able to be in the present moment with anything, or you're doing this in order to help somebody else, an animal or a person that's been traumatized, you're in a 0 point state of infinite possibilities. It's the 0 point field in quantum physics, which is just a huge zone of anything is possible. And it's very hard to be negative or judge when you're in that space. And this is what the trust process really shows you, that you don't need to engage in mind-based activities, such as changing who you are, or trying to figure out how to solve your problems. You don't need to keep worrying about erasing your painful past. You cannot do those things. The aim here of all of this is what I call distract implants. They're designed to distract you from being present with what you can change in the moment. Remembering, compassionate listening goes both ways. And if you can't be willing to hold yourself in that space of safety, to be able to still your mind down, slow your thinking down, so that you can tap into your felt sense, your intuitive wise woman, within, nothing ever changes. You're going to just keep averting happiness, and you're going to keep pushing away the things you don't want. So for me, suffering is a choice, and it all just comes back to the power of choice, to live in the moment, because the only time you're suffering is when you're going away in your mind or you're going back into the past. So we need to change the internal dialogue. We need to look at how we're speaking ourselves into being. This is the alchemy we know as medicine women. We've been there, and we've literally spelt into being in the past. Excuse me. We know how to do this. We know how to trust. We just need to remember how to use that muscle. And right now and always, in this reality beyond time, there's infinite space of awareness that is completely at ease with things as they are. Even though you know this, your mind may rev up again to grab your attention. So over and over, you can rediscover the absolute truth. The truth for you doesn't have to be true for anybody else, but the truth beyond all the concepts. And then you start to realize there's nothing wrong, nothing to hide, nothing to prove, nothing to fix. You're not broken. So you, in your original state, your divine diamond blueprint, you came in here whole. That is the nature of all things. You are whole, you are luminous, and you're expansively peaceful. This is what's always true. And experience this is always like such a fresh concept, because awakening is timeless. It's what's true and real right now. Knowing this, then you celebrate what you realize that your attention's been distracted to or glued itself to. Remember the negativity bias I spoke to a few days ago? It gets fixated like the Velcro to the programmed thoughts and feelings, which are always, what am I going to lose? What do I have to lose here? It's always fear-based. It's not trust-driven. So now you can create this beautiful space where you're available to the peace and calm of your true nature, because you are willing and choosing it to be, I can be peaceful and calm regardless of what's going on around me. That's the trust process. And here's the golden opportunity to stop and recognize that your thoughts are telling you a story. And then, instead of feeding the story for one more second, by holding yourself still as a statue, you become more aware of your breath. And instead of embellishing and the high drama, right, trauma and emergency of what you think your emotions are telling you, then you can be open to the physical sensations appearing in your body, because you're in a space of holding yourself so still in the present moment that you cannot but be aware of your body sensations. And then instead of focusing on the breath or physical sensations, you find your way home to your heart. It's heart opening. It's formless. It's a formless field of pure awakened presence. It's that beautiful bliss state that you can carry on out into the rest of your day after just 5 minutes of sitting in the present moment through the trust process. That's where you experience the peace of your true nature. That's where true healing begins. So if you're like me, when the idea of a personal self starts falling away, the ego screams. No, it will. And then you have the opportunity to return to your true home. Back to your heart, back to trust, as and when you like. That's the fire of truth, to just do it in this moment, and then this moment, and then this moment, and then the next. And this is how your problems and your habits don't exist. They can't exist anymore. They dissipate as you integrate and you transmute that into high vibrational frequencies. Nothing to hide, nothing to prove, nothing to figure out. It's that fast if you just choose it. So just realize that you're suffering right now because your attention has been grabbed onto personal thoughts and feelings around loss or scarcity or lack or judgment or whatever you're choosing as your drug of choice. You're in a distractor implant. And when you're there, you cannot be present to the truth of what is really going on. So then right now you lose interest in all the thoughts and you just let your attention rest here in the present moment in infinite openness, and you're totally unattached to any personal construct or constant. It's neutral territory. And your mind will tell you that you're finding freedom in the moment isn't enough. Of course it'll do that because you've been wired this way to run away for so long. So just remember, it's not your fault. It's just the bad training of this reality. And you have the power of choice to change it. So just know your mind, your ego will do everything it possibly can to set you up to believe that you're not safe, that there's something to fear, that you're going to lose, and that you certainly can't be happy and you certainly can't be peaceful. Because that would just be wrong. You know, you'd have to be on an antidepressant or you'd be crazy, right? That's what this reality tells us all the time. So the more you train, the more you gain more peace and calm. And the mind has to be quiet because it's running on this idea that if you were truly free of painful and stressful thoughts and challenging situations, then they'd never be able to come visit you. And so many people think, oh my God, who am I without this identity to fear? Without this identity that my ego thinks there's something to lose. Just know, none of it's true. It's just the bad training of this reality. It's the insane asylum we're all committed to and nobody knows it. But now you do. And now you get to change it. So it's going to pull you out of toxic thought and worry and rumination where you literally scare yourself sick about the past and about the future or what might come. And you discover this beautiful timeless space that's called the here and now. That's the homecoming to a place of trust that you can be peaceful. You can create calm wherever you are. And it happens from love. Loving whatever arises, letting it go, let it come up, let it go. And then you can be present with your essence, with your being and your body and your countenances and your endeavors, everything that makes you, you and uniquely you. And then you get to be available in the moment to experience the bliss state or the full intensity of the feeling, whether that's love or anger or protection or just absolute tears of relief. And it's the most important remembering that anyone can make is just to trust that you're enough and that suffering is optional. Power of choice is yours and yours alone. And if you love this video or you know someone that might want to benefit from hearing it, please love it, share it, pay it forward, because the more of us that are functioning and choosing to be contributing from this place, the sooner we get to create a beautiful world that's better and that's thriving, not just for us, for all the species that share this beautiful planet with us. So like it, subscribe it, follow me over on Facebook, and let me know what you'd like me to speak to really increase your present moment of trusting that you're enough and that you can have anything that you want. I'd love to hear it. All right, until next time, bye.